Hello, everyone.
It was weird. I opened my Twitter feed and it's like the world is ending. I was like, pause. What just happened?
A global pandemic.
I realized I have anxiety.
I just lost about all my goddamn motivation.
Everybody's been having a hard time.
I painted this little skeleton.
People would talk about, I took up this random craft. I was like, I'm glad I showered yesterday. I'm glad I got that one in.
A lot of the solar system are out in a lot of other solar systems.
I just feel like a lot of people are just doing it for the wrong reasons.
Every post is either declaring something to be unequivocally true or unequivocally false.
How is that helping anybody?
It's just like really complicated.
Is there any movement forward after this, or is this all that there is?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second annual Yale and Hollywood Film Festival. I am one of your hosts today, Melissa Johnson, as well as the features programmer. The clip that you just saw us from the feature that is closing our film festival this year, it is called When the Music Stops, and we actually have the producer of the film here with us today. So we're going to bring him on and we'll get started with our Q&A for the night. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Hi, Melissa. So nice to meet you.
You as well. I just wanted to open up by letting you have a couple moments just to introduce yourself, tell us how you're connected to the film and what your connection to Yale is.
Yeah, of course. So I'll first start with my connection to Yale. I actually am here on campus in New Haven for the first time this fall semester. I'm actually a transfer student. And so I did my first year of college at CU Boulder in Colorado. And that was before the pandemic. I applied to transfer here and then took a gap year, which is where I spent most of my time focused on creating When the Music Stops, and then am now here in New Haven. And so I've been loving being on campus here as an undergraduate. Right now it's very chilly in New Haven, but I love the cold. I'm from Colorado, so that's sort of it's interesting because the story of me coming to Yale and sort of postponing school is intertwined with the story of the film as well. And the actual content of the film is very centered around the collegiate experience and what students like myself felt during such a tumultuous year.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I had no idea you actually shot a lot of it during your gap year. Well, what was the inspiration behind that? What sort of gave you the idea to even do this?
Yeah, so, I think going even further back, I first started making films with my creative collaborator, Colin Khaleesi, who is a student at NYU, when we were both in high school. And so we started doing narrative short films our sophomore year of high school and just continued to try and make more and more content that pushed us in new and different ways. We made mockumentaries, we made scripted dramas, we made comedies. And so, we both sort of got together in the summer of 2020 and we took a look at what the fall was going to be like and what the spring was going to be like for being a college student. And we sort of said, well, what happens if we don't do that? And so we looked at, we thought through what we could feasibly create while also staying safe.
I can hear you. I think we're having some technical difficulties.
I vanished.
You can go ahead and spotlight, Ryan.
And so we, sort of took a look at all of the options, and it became very clear that making a documentary about the actual experience that, all of us as college students were going through, became the clear choice in terms of the most powerful story we could create. And also a story that was feasible to actually go out and shoot without having a bunch of people together in one room or having a massive crew. It really was just Colin, myself, and the interviewee when we were shooting this entire film. And we got tested. We wore masks the entire time as we sort of traveled around the United States, going to the I think we traveled to a grand total of 35 different states shooting the film. And that was sort of how we stumbled into the documentary. We sort of said, what can we shoot? We shot for about 2 or 3 months, and then we sat down, we watched all of it. We had about 50 or 60 hours of footage. We said, what is the film here? And so we edited for some subsequent months, and out came When the Music Stops.
Yeah, that's so great. I really love the title, When the Music Stops. It actually puts me in the mind of, there's this country music song called, I believe it's Where Were You by Ellen Jackson. And it's all about where were you when the world stopped turning, like on 9/11, which was super impactful for my generation, but of course, the world at large. And I was just wondering what you are thinking about how this experience is impacting your generation, especially as a Yalean, like potential world leader.
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think this, it's interesting because when we finished the documentary earlier this year, we, ostensibly thought we were at the end of the tunnel and the vaccines were out and the whole world was reopening, and we finished it and we were like, wow, did we make it through? And now fast forward 6 months and this is still very front of mind for all of us, or top of mind. And so I think this whole experience is a generational defining moment, similar to, like you mentioned, 9/11, what the Vietnam War was, what World War II was for other generations, what the Cold War was. And the fact that this is just such a shared experience across everybody is really something that I think is going to impact, I don't know, not to get too meta, but impact really every facet of life. Psychology, I mean, we see it in the film. The psychology of a lot of these people are super affected by the experience. And personally, it was very struggling to go through the pandemic lockdown, and continuing to have it be front of mind is also not super easy at this point. But there's so much, as both an artist and as somebody that has aspirations to sort of lead individuals and sort of give opportunities to others to create stories, that knowing this experience is shared between all of us is just a common ground that I think will be something that doesn't really leave the conversation, even though hopefully it does leave the public health discourse at some point.
Yeah, that's so great. I totally agree. You mentioned mental health, and at first glance, I thought that this documentary was about COVID, but it's really just, it sort of spans the timeline of the pandemic and the broader 2020 experience. You covered like mental health issues, the race riots, the elections. And I guess I was just wondering, like, what is like the central message that you're hoping that people walk away from the documentary with?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question because there are many central messages that go toward this feeling that is sort of what we view the film as, which is a time capsule. And we sort of have that very blatantly interwoven throughout the film, but really, like, even watching it now, even the film isn't even, I guess it's 7 months old at this point, but it just feels like such a different reality. And knowing that all of these things were going on and affecting our psyches in different ways, even though we're only a year removed from that world, is really the message. And this sort of feeling is one that I think Colin and I wanted to capture, because I think a lot of us have forgotten how intense it was. And I think a lot of people are sort of blocking it out. And, the film is not at this point like easy to watch because we're still going through it. I mean, I think I'm really interested to hear people's experiences with the film in 5 or 10 years, or even 15 years, looking back and, hopefully having some of the subjects in the film listen to themselves talk. Because I think we really had a insider's view of the psyches and what people were thinking about at this particular moment in time where it was extremely dark, and that was last fall and last winter. And I think, things improved earlier this year and we're in a different reality now, but that moment in time is one that I don't think we should necessarily, I mean, it's great that we've moved on from it, but I think it's one that should be captured and recognized as impacting all of us, like you said, and something that's going to permeate over the next few years and decades as we, come of age and become leaders, and as everybody sort of navigates outside of this experience that is shared by us all.
Yeah, that's so good. I actually really love that you bookended the movie with like the digging and then the burying of the time capsule. But it's even cooler to think of the movie itself being a time capsule, and the fact that you can sort of dig it up in 15 years and see what the impact of it is like. We've got some real-time questions also coming in.
Sure.
Quentin is wondering if you could talk a little bit about your production process. What was it like, interviewing, and if you had a favorite interview? That was one of the questions.
Yeah, the favorite interview question is one where we get quite a bit. And my response to that is we loved them all. But the production process was really, it spanned over the course of about 7 months. And I think I touched on it a little bit where, Colin and I sat down and we sort of came up with the concept of, hey, we're going to get a camera, we're going to get some gear, we're going to talk to our friends, we're going to interview them, and we're going to drive around the country and do that for about 2 months. And we didn't really even have preset questions going into these interviews. Most of them actually ended up lasting multiple hours. 2 to 3 hours was kind of our average, which is a long time to talk to somebody. If you really reflect on it, it's like, how often do you have a conversation one-on-one with somebody for multiple hours? And I don't think it's very common. And so we had this over and over again for about 2 months straight. And so we shot that those main A-roll interviews over the course of those 2 months. We had some B-roll interspliced, and then we went and sort of created transcripts and read all of these interviews and sort of treated them in a very literary manner. And then we went back and shot some B-roll for a month, and then edited. And in the editing room is where the film was really made. I don't think we sort of had a rough idea as to how to sort of structure the film in these preset segments, but we had a lot of different creative ideas on how they're tied together, how we express these different ideas, how we cut between people, how we maybe only focus on vignettes that we captured or only focus on interviews. And we had to answer all of those questions in the editing room day after day. And so we edited for 3.5 months straight, every single day for pretty much 8 or 9 hours a day.
So impressive.
And then the film was done. And we worked with some post-production folks on finishing it up audio wise and then color wise, and with color grading, and out came the film.
That's so incredible. We actually only have about a minute left, and I just want to ask one final question, because I love that it's the way that you ended your film. You asked everyone to, like, what would they tell their future self? And I guess I'm just wondering, what would you tell your future self, like several Yale and Hollywood Film Fest from now?
Wow, that's I had an answer back in the day, because I when I was filming, I would always think, but you caught me off guard. I can't say I was ready for that. I'd say that this moment in time is one that you will only get once, and making sure that you are present, that you are making friends, that you are spending time with the people you love is the most important thing. And, stress will come and go. Projects will be better than others. But at the end of the day, the memories that you get, the people that you're surrounded by, are the things that you should be truly cherishing. And that's, partly the film taught me that, because we got to see these people's faces day in, day out for 3 months. And all these people are, now very close to us. When we interviewed them, a lot of them were strangers, or at least like, friends of friends of friends. Yeah, a little pithy ending there.
No, that was so great. Thank you so much. We really enjoyed your film.
Thank you.
We're so glad that you could be here today, and please stay, catch the rest of the program, and good luck with everything in the future. Dang, that was abrupt. All right, and I would like to introduce our juror, Chris Lee, who will be introducing our first award of the evening.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much. I know we're very excited to have our next honoree, Lee Isaac Chung. All of you know him, of course, for writing and directing the semi-autobiographical film Minari, which was nominated for Best Picture along with Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress, Best Actor, and Best Original Score, and introduced the world to the winner of Best Supporting Actress, Korea's treasure, Yoo Jong-yoon, and basically established the Minari cinematic universe. But what a lot of people don't know is that Chung wrote this story when he had pretty much decided he was going to give up on filmmaking. So I thought I'd look into a little bit about his journey to the top of Hollywood. And rather than going to the usual sources, I thought I'd check out the Yale Daily News so we could answer the first question, which is which college was he in, which was Calhoun at the time, and is now Grace Hopper. Chung entered Yale intending to major in ethics, politics, and economics, or EP&E, which we didn't have when I was there. After getting what he called terrible grades his first year, he realized that graduating with a good GPA would be difficult. So he turned to what he thought was an easier option, the ecology and evolutionary biology major, otherwise known as pre-med, which I'm sure most bio majors would not think that was the case, that is an easier major. But fate intervened when, to get his distributed credits, he took video as art and discovered that his parents were not that thrilled with this idea when he told them on a trip to Disney World. According to the Daily News, from him, it ruined the whole trip for me. The whole trip was them trying to convince me that I need to, stop being a fool and wasting my life, unquote. He remembers being lectured every day while he was just trying to enjoy the Disney rides. But the Chungs remember the trip differently. His sister Leslie was also at Yale and said, "My dad's memory is that Isaac told him, and he was very supportive." She remembers many conversations was basically boiled down to, you could do whatever you want in life, just go to medical school first. Regardless of the details, she says, many of the rides at Disney World are designed to be ridden in pairs, and Chung spent the trip sitting alone, waving from the back. Well, he's not waving from the back anymore. As with many accomplished Yaleys, it's been an unconventional journey. Chung's directorial debut was Munyun Rangabo, a movie set in Rwanda that he made while teaching students film school because his wife was there as a therapist and went there to work with survivors of the 1994 genocide. The film was shot over 11 days and premiered at the 2007 Cannes Film Festival. His second film, Lucky Life, also premiered at Cannes, and his third film, Abigail Harm, is based on the Korean folktale, The Woodcutter and the Nymph. But he wrote the semi-autobiographical Minari in the summer of 2018, by which time he was considering retiring from filmmaking and accepting a teaching job at the University of Utah's Asia campus in Incheon. University of Utah is where he went to film school. Recalling this period, he said to the Yale Daily News, "I figured I might have just one shot at making another film. I needed it to make it very personal and throw everything I was feeling." Chung feels as though after college, including the places he lived after school, his friends and the news he follows have been heavily influenced by his time at Yale. Of his success in filmmaking, Chung has said, "I think what's happening is that there is a dehumanization and people are being reduced strictly to identity in a very pernicious way. I wish I could have a voice for this to say what really ought to be done, and I don't have a sense for that. I'm only telling stories here, and I hope there will be more stories that come out to try to connect us and try to show us all as human." So let's take a look at one of those films, Minari.
And we'll roll the clip.
아유, 대단하다.
할머니는 진짜 할머니 같지 않아요.
할머니 같은 게 뭔데?
쿠키도 만들고 나쁜 말도 안 하고 남자 팬티도 안 입고.
그래? 그럼
하지 마.
그러면 산에서 온 이슬물이나 갖고 와. 그거 마시자.
싫어.
싫어? 이리 와, 이리 와, 이리 와. 아이고, 프리티 보이, 프리티 보이, 프리티.
I'm not pretty. I'm good looking.
아이고, 또 때리네, 또 때리네, 또 때리네. 아이고, 저러다 사람 죽겠네. 아이고.
It's a classic. It's a classic. So for Minari and all of his meaningful success and success to come, I'm very proud to virtually present the Yale and Hollywood Festival's very first Visionary of the Year award to our own Lee Isaac Chung.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Melissa. Also, thank you, Quentin. I feel embarrassed right now. I don't know why. Yeah, just really appreciate this. I was, kind of laughing about this whole thing because I was very eager to accept this prize because I went to Yale. I had terrible grades, like you were talking about, Chris. And of course, I've never won anything at Yale that had the word Yale in it. So this is the first time I'm getting honored somehow with some association to Yale. So I'm very honored, and it feels great. But I do also want to say that, yeah, Yale was very influential for me to go on this journey to try to become a filmmaker. My professor, Michael Romer, I think he's like 93 years old right now. I've lost touch with him. But he's an incredible filmmaker. He was a very humble guy and just inspired a love for cinema in me. And so as I'm getting this, my mind goes back to him with this and that time, senior year, when everything felt dark to me. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, but there was this sudden feeling of warmth and light that was coming from his classroom as I was learning like how to make films and finding for the first time in my life a deep sense of passion for something, for honing in on a craft. So I guess to all of you all who are in this festival and making films and struggling to get those films made, it can be quite a long journey. All the best to you all, and yeah, just stay inspired. I hope you guys have all the success in the world and keep making great things. But thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you, Chris. Up next, we're actually going to bring on Christina Yang, who is part of our features jury and also current Yale student, to introduce our next award.
Thank you, Melissa. Without further ado, I would like to announce the best feature film of this year's Yale and Hollywood Festival on behalf of the features jury. The jury is proud to award the winner to Lee in 1974. We were thoroughly impressed and equally moved by such poignant storytelling. It is really a unique and melancholic cinematic portrait of a young girl's journey on the road with their erratic hippie mother and their off-grid lifestyle. Well done, and congratulations to the cast and crew of Lee 1974. Let's take a look at this best feature and invite S.J. Chiro, the director of Lee 1974, to say a few words after.
Please deposit 10 cents for the next 4 minutes.
Thank you.
Lane?
Hello?
Lane, are you there?
I don't have much time on the phone. I'm coming on a bus from Santa Rosa,
to California.
We're sorry. Will you please try your call again later?
I'm leaving today.
Okay, well.
Hi, SJ. Thank you so much for being here with us.
We also want you to use the mic for us. I think your mic is on mute.
You're right. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for this incredible honor. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes, as SJ, would you like to share a few words with us with
yes,
your
sure.
process? Yeah.
I mean, this is incredible. When Sophia reached out to me to say that this festival exists and she'd love to present the film or, submit the film, I thought, oh, fantastic. What a great opportunity for Sophia. But little did I know that I would be in the same room of sorts as one of my great cinematic heroes, Lee Isaac Chung. So, wow, that is such a terrific honor. He is truly a visionary, and I'm so grateful for his work and for his voice, and really a true honor. When you make a film that is as personal as Lane 1974 was for me, there are many gifts, and some of them are surprising. And the most treasured gift that film gave me was the deep, profound, and lasting relationship that I made with Sophia Mitri-Schloss, who plays Lane. And she played Lane with such empathy, with such care, and with such love that a whole generation of counterculture kids now feel seen. And I know that because they reach out to me and they tell me that. And also, I'm one of them. So I want to thank you all. I want to really thank Quentin and Melissa, Christina, Chris, all of you at this marvelous Yale and Hollywood Festival. Thank you for recognizing my work, and thank you for making me feel seen.
Thank you so much, SJ. That was very powerful. That being said, we would like to move on to our next award, the Best Actress Film Award, which goes to the one and only Sophia Mitri-Schloss, who plays Lane again in Lane 1974. Lane's intensity, intelligence, and vulnerability, as SJ just said, shine through her resilience to all the twists and turns of her life. It was a very impressive and nuanced performance, especially from someone of such a young age. Congratulations, Sophia. You now have the floor.
Thank you so much, Christina, and thank you all. It's so wonderful to be here with you. And man, what SJ said just threw me, because I had a lot that I was going to say about SJ and how my relationship with her has been such a gift ever since I met her and we started working on this project together. And this is special for me for so many reasons, and a big reason being that it's been so long since this film was made. I was 12 at the time, and now I'm a first year here. And the story and the character and the script and everyone involved with the film was so special for me then and remains so special for me now. So to be able to continue to share it with people is really a true honor, and it makes me so happy. And it especially makes me so happy to get to share it within my new community of Yale people. So thank you again so much. And I'm so excited to have 3.5 more years to get to share a love of film with you all. So thank you.
Great job for our features jury. I'm actually going to now introduce the members of our shorts jury, and then they'll be introducing their next few prizes. We've got Sara Gilbert, Christina Yang, and Hannah Ruth Earl. And I believe first up we'll have Sara Gilbert with reading the shorts jury statement. You can take it away, Sarah.
Oh, great. Hello, everybody. I just want to say, first of all, how excited I am to be here. And when I spoke with Quentin originally and he told me there were 19 shorts, I just couldn't believe that many shorts had been admitted. And I thought, it's not possible that there could be that many good ones. And I was curious to know what had gone on in the selection process. And as I watched them, each one was as good as the last. I was completely engrossed. I wanted them to be a series. Like each one I was watching, I thought I would keep watching this to find out what happened to these characters and these stories, etc. So it made our job difficult because as we spoke, it was like, oh, that one was great. That one was great. And I just think everyone involved should feel so proud. And I personally am extremely excited that we have all of these storytellers in the world, and what a gift to us. So with that, I will kick it over to Christina to present the best narrative short.
Absolutely, and it is my honor to award the best narrative short film to The Forgotten Place by Jeff Locker. Congratulations, Jeff.
No. My dad used to call me that as a kid, and we don't really get along, so.
Oh, okay. Well then, I will only call you that once, at your dad's funeral, just to make you laugh.
Oh, I'm gonna need a little snark from you on that day.
Hey, I will be good for some choice snark over the years, my friend.
Thanks, man.
It's what BFFs are for.
You're on mute, Jeff. Do you want to go ahead and unmute yourself?
Yep, you'd think after a year and a half of pandemic we would figure this out, but clearly not all of us have. I don't know, that just choked me up. I don't know what just happened. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm usually good with words. Thank you so much to everybody at Yale and Hollywood Fest. Thank you to the jury. I can't believe Isaac is here. Sara, I'm fanboying out. I've been following your career since, anyway. One of the things, our director, Oscar, our DP, Alex, the producers, Ben, Alex, Cass, Jamie, and James, our entire cast and crew, most of them who work for free, which is important when you're starting off to get people who believe in you and believe in your work. And my co-star, Brian Flackis, who was there from the very beginnings of 2017 when it was just a short play and we flew to New York and performed it at Samuel French off Broadway. This is just a story about a lonely man who's looking for a connection. He's just looking for a best friend, his first. And I think it's particularly relevant given the world today and how much many of us feel disconnected with social media and particularly in the pandemic. I wanted to say in regards to Yale and Hollywood, part of the inspiration was moving to LA after 30 and I didn't have any friends, and it's really hard to make friends ever, but certainly after 30 because everybody's like married and has their own friends. And on day 2 of getting to LA, I went to a Yale and Hollywood event and I made friends and found kindred spirits, which isn't always easy in this town, and met a lot of people along the way, helped me raise my game as an artist. And last but not least, Sara, I'm so glad you mentioned that so many of these films could be series, because it wouldn't be Hollywood if we didn't try to pitch our stuff. So we actually adapted it into a TV series that I'm about to start taking out to pitch, which is super exciting. So the Forgotten Place journey isn't over. So stay tuned. And thanks to everybody here and who's watching and who saw the short for being part of the journey. I'm a little verklempt. This is lovely and I'm just very grateful. I don't know, it's Yale. Yale gets me emotional even now. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for this. This is lovely.
Thank you so much, Jeff. On behalf of the jury, I would like to present our next award, and that is for acting. So the special jury prize for acting goes to Studio 210.
That my thoughts are clearer, and I'm less distracted when I'm alone. So yes, I prefer being alone.
Well, I just think your life here is so cool. You just get to be here all day, every day. Just working.
Thank you so much. We wanted to honor these incredible performances that really speak to empathy and caring about these characters. Just extraordinary work on everyone's part. So with that, I turn it over to Lily Weisberg.
Hi, thank you so much, Hannah. I should make clear that I am not one of the actors in the film. I'm the director of the film, despite accepting an acting award. But yeah, thank you so much, Hannah and Sarah and Christina and Quentin and everyone at Yale and Hollywood. This has been such a wonderful event, and I loved seeing all the films yesterday. I agree with Sarah; they're all incredible. And thank you so much for this award. I'm really honored to accept it on behalf of Phil Schneider and Amelia Avital, who are the incredible actors in this film. It makes me so happy that their work, their talent, their performances are being recognized. Working with Phil and Amelia was like really the best part of directing this film. And I was in constant disbelief that actors this brilliant were willing to give their time to this project. And doing this film really changed the way that I think about directing. And I was lucky to have the experience of learning so much from my actors about directing. They really made me a better director and taught me about acting and taught me about art making and helped me better understand their characters, which is what I should have been doing for them. And I don't know, it was really like a really touching thing. And it was nice to hear SJ and Sophia talk about that actor-director relationship too, and hear that you guys also had such a close one. So I just really want to thank Phil and Mealy for doing this film. It means more to me than I can say. Thank you all so much.
And Lily, I'll just say, I'm sure if the actors were here, they would say they couldn't do it without you. I'm sure you brought a lot out of them, including casting them. So now I will move us on to the documentary, Best Documentary Short Film. A great documentary of any length, I think, takes you into a world that you didn't know about and opens your eyes to a human experience. And our Best Documentary Short Film did just that. I could not believe this world existed. And I think it's so important that we all know about it, these worlds that can happen right under our noses, so that we can make a change in the world. And I felt this film could and should have such an impact on our planet. So with that, I present the award to Nan Min.
Sleep. 日本では無期限収容なので、いつ出るかっていうのがわからないんですね。いつ仮放免そこから出られるかっていうのがわからないので。
The most horrifying or terrible thing for them is not knowing when they could be released.
Do we have Adam here, Quentin? Hopefully Adam is here to accept the award. And we're just experiencing some technical difficulties. If not, we will move on. Thank you to our short story again so much for all of your hard work and watching 19 films. It's an incredible feat, guys. We really appreciate it and your dedication and your time. Let's see. Adam is not here, so we're going to actually conclude the award ceremony for the night. And with that, that's actually the end of the 2021 Yale and Hollywood Film Festival. I want to say a special thank you to all of our jurors, especially for all of your hard work. To our amazing filmmakers, you guys should be really proud of the creative feats that you've accomplished this year. And I would just like to say, keep creating. It's what makes life worth living. They say Earth without art is just air. So let's just keep creating art together, guys. And we hope that you'll send in submissions for next year's festival. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you all have a great evening.